ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Welcome to the first class from our campus. We are here today. Can you imagine? So this is the to-be library. The bookshelves are here. No books have come as yet, but no doubt they soon will. Can you imagine? After all this, finally we are doing something here. So let's see now. Today and tomorrow's class. Today and tomorrow's class will be from here, and Sunday's class you will have GD. So where were we? You can hear everything properly and see properly and all that, right? Okay, good. The fact that it's happening today means that our internet is working. Wi-Fi is on. Can you believe it? All sorts of things. सबके फूले न nahi समाये, including Bhavna and Jayashree, who are here with me, running from pillar to post, trying to get everything ready for tomorrow. So, where were we? We were studying about, oops, sorry for all the stuff that you will be experiencing today. This is all our teething problems will be on. So, what were we doing? Misunderstanding the intellect. What governance does not mean. This is very important to understand because most people have their own definitions of terms, definitions of usages. So, what we try to do is bring everybody on the same platform. So, at least we're all talking the same language. So, what does intellect not mean? Firstly, intellect does not equal information. You can have all the information in the world and be a complete idiot, which I'm sure you all have experienced. Many people, very knowledgeable, sometimes very knowledgeable in the scriptures too. But when it comes to getting their action right, that they cannot manage. And at the end of the day, all knowledge is only meant to get your action right. If your action is not right, then now what was the use of your knowledge? What is the whole point of knowledge? The whole point of knowledge is when you perform the action, that is the right action. Without that one thing, all knowledge is futile. So, intellect does not equal information. For instance, now AI has knows so much. So, is AI something with intellect? No. They even made, I don't know if you all are familiar, they made what do you call it? AI model, not model, made a actual robo with AI, which is supposed to be able to tell you everything about Buddhism. We should do that with Vedanta also. But even if we create, maybe Deepraj will create a bit of robo one day that will, you know, don't need class. You just ask the robo whatever you want. All information is fed in. And the robo will tell you, probably tell you correctly. But the thing that we will never be able to give that robo is an intellect. All the knowledge in the world we can give, but it will not create an intellect. What is intellect? The capacity to decide and execute the right action. Okay, so first thing is intellect is not information. Secondly, intellect does not mean that a person doesn't have emotions or that he nullifies his emotions in some way or looks down on emotion or thinks emotions is a bad thing. No, that's not possible. How can emotions be a bad thing? Without without emotions, are you even human? Imagine a human being without emotions. No, I'd be so. I'd be like, what kind of person are you? Like a paper rose or something. So emotions are a necessary part of being a human being. Remember definition of a human. He has a body, he has a mind, he has an intellect. If you remove emotions, then he's not a human. He has to have all three. So having emotions is fantastic. But, but acting on emotions is where the trouble. Thank you, Jayashree. But if you don't sit down, everybody can see that you're standing. Don't worry, it's okay. See, now we can't do any nakra during class because everybody can see what you all are doing. As long as you're sitting, they can't see you. But the moment you stand up, something will be seen. How much can you say? You can't see much, no? If there are naughty children in the class, then the whole class will see. So where was I? Emotions are not nullified. Please, nobody in Vedanta says emotions is a bad thing. Emotions is a good thing. If we see a nice girl with good emotions, they're happy, nice, charming girl, we will say. You see a girl with no emotion. And will we say nice girl? We say, what kind of girl is this? You expect emotions, right? That's a beauty of it. So Vedanta does not, having intellect doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It only means that you have the sense to filter your emotions as and when necessary. Filter emotions means filter their manifestation, filter how you act on those emotions. And if you don't learn to do this, people say, I will say whatever is in my mind. Okay, feel free to say, but please understand you are hurting the other person. You are going to hurt yourself. If you still want to do it, go ahead and do it, but understand consequences. You feel you can tell anybody what comes into your mind? We make so many random comments because we just don't think. And that other person keeps it in their mind forever. Now, is that what you want to do? You want to just hurt somebody unnecessarily because you didn't want to put in 1 second of thought before you spoke? You will hurt the other. You also hurt your own interests sometimes. So foolishly we talk that our own interests are impeded. So just having emotions is good. Acting upon them, behaving according, speaking according to them needs some filtration. Third problem people find with intellect is they say, oh, spontaneity will be lost. Spontaneity will be lost. That is true. If you start thinking about action, you will no longer be as spontaneous as you would have been otherwise. That is correct. But that is only initially. Later on, you can be completely spontaneous. In fact, you will be because your intellect has learned to work fast. First, in the beginning, when you say use your intellect, like for everything, you start thinking. So you're standing at a door, you're saying, shall I open it or not open it? Then you think carefully. Yes, I want to enter the room, so I have to open it. Person behind you is saying, Arey Baba, jaldi karo. What are you waiting for? So initially, we are a little silly because you're saying, okay, I'm going to think about it. But as you get used to the use of the intellect, of course, you become instant, you become spontaneous. Isn't Krishna spontaneous? Do you know anyone who uses intellect more than Krishna? And do you know anyone more spontaneous than Krishna? So it's very, very quick. Then the fourth one is that some people believe that there should be a balance of mind and intellect. It's okay. You can say there should be a balance of intellect and mind, but when you say that, what you mean is that sometimes you need emotion and sometimes you need rationality, which is fine. But in Vedanta, you can't say that. Because in Vedanta, if you say that, we use these terms in a very specific way. Balance in Vedanta is the intellect. Because who's going to balance? And if you say you have to balance between mind and intellect, then now do we create a third entity who will create a balance between these two? No. In Vedanta, balance is a factor of the intellect itself. So in Vedanta, you can't say that. But in layman's conversation, of course, you can say whatever you want. As long as you understand that you're not balancing between emotions and filtration. All emotions have to be filtered. There's no balance between filtration and emotion. Like you can't say, I'm making a balance between chai patti and chai strainer. No, all patti has to be stopped by the strainer. But it's usage. So I hope you get that. Everybody's clear about this thing? You're not balancing between the tea leaves and the strainer. The strainer has to be used every time the tea leaves are used. Okay? But that's in Vedantic usage. Okay, then the next one we were to start is many people believe that we become nerds or geeks. That also is not true. Desires can be physical. Number 5, becoming nerds or geeks. Desires can be physical or mental or intellectual. We could want physical pleasures, emotional delights, or intellectual satisfactions. But in all cases, it is desire. So, what does this mean? You can have a desire at the physical level, you can have a desire at the emotional level, you can have a desire at the intellectual level, right? So, if I want to study mathematics, this is a desire at which level?
Intellectual.
Intellectual. If I want to have, I don't know, a child or a partner, this is a desire at what level?
Emotional.
Emotional. Can you hear Jayashree and Bhavna? You all can hear them?
There's a delay of about 2 to 3 seconds when
Can
we
you
say
hear me? You all are
something.
not reacting at all. That means you can't
You
hear me
hear it
also.
2 to 3
No,
seconds
we
later.
can. We can.
We can hear.
Can you hear me or not?
Very well.
Yeah, very
Okay.
much
Can you
clear,
hear Jayashree and
Janji.
Bhavna?
No,
No,
we can't
we
hear
can't
them.
hear.
We can hear clearly, but you can hear whom clearly? Me
Only
or
you,
Jayashree?
Janki ji.
You heard Jayashree and Bhavna's answers?
No.
Okay. Oh, only me. Okay, fine. So if they create any racket in class, then you all can't hear. No. Okay, only you can see them if they get up. You can see their reflections. There is a 2-3 second delay. No, is it?
This is our
So,
academy, Janki ji.
if I want a child, what desire is this? I want to be a parent. Then emotional desire. If I want to eat a gulab jamun, this is a physical desire, right? So all of these, whether it's mathematics or I want to have children or I want to have a gulab jamun, all of these are desires, but at 3 different levels of the personality. Okay, so they are all desires. I want to learn, I don't know, astrophysics, so desire. I want world peace, desire. I don't know. I want whatever I want. All desire, huh? I want Vedanta, desire. Everything is a desire. Okay. Now, in all cases, it is desire. Whenever these desires exist, the mind tends to get entranced. Right? So, you please understand this is an important distinction we make. The desire is the mind in all cases, but the desire can pertain to the physical body or the mind or the intellect. But in all cases, desire is the mind. But these desires can be about the body or about the mind or about the intellect. Like physical or emotional or intellectual desire. Now, what happens is no matter what the desire is, it is the mind that gets carried away. Whether it is in eating gulab jamun or in my child or in mathematics, it is the mind that gets carried away. Okay? Wherever these desires exist, the mind tends to get entranced. When the mind gets carried away with intellectual desires, the individual becomes what others may call nerds, geeks, or dogs. The world is moving so fast that if you use the language of the language that was being used when the book was written, by the time the book is published, these words don't exist anymore. Today's kids must be using different words. So, nerds or geeks or dogs are all different variations of the same idea. People who are completely involved in their intellectual desires. So, they could be very smart in school. These words are quite old. Yes, but I'm also old now. What to do, Deepraj? Deepraj knows all the modern lingo. What did you tell me I was that day? Yesterday, yeah, one day he told me I'm an absolute unit. Huh? You say
Unit,
absolute
yes.
unit. He says I'm an
Absolutely.
absolute unit. I don't know what is absolute unit. Is he saying good things about me or bad things about me? Huh? What is absolute unit? Do you know what is an absolute unit? If you don't know, you all are too old. What is absolute? I'll tell you, absolute
Nalgiri,
unit
even an
means a
absolute
very
unit is like
strong woman,
a word that is
apparently.
2 to 3 years old.
Oh, you're, I can't hear you. Are you on Deepraj? I can't hear you.
There's a delay
Let me
or
see.
what's going on?
Is this on mute? It's okay. Now say something, somebody.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Oh,
can.
great. Okay. Yeah, I was saying even an absolute unit is like 2 years old. So even that is getting old now, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, what language are we going to learn? By the time you learn absolute unit, now that is gone. Now we have to learn something else. Good Lord. Narendra Singh Negi, what do you have to say? Are you going to give us a new vocabulary too?
No, not about that. I'm just going back.
Hmm.
They about the spontaneity.
Oh my God, that's very far back. Okay, go ahead.
Uh, can I speak about it?
Yes, I guess so.
Okay,
Or
you
actually,
know.
wait. Let us finish this point, then you speak about it, okay?
Okay,
So that
okay,
we are
all
not
right.
in the middle of a thought.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
where where are we? A person can get involved in intellectual desires, such as I must be brilliant, I come first in class. I mean, not he doesn't want to come first in class, but he wants to study so well, or he has no interest other than his subject, like some research scholars or some IT people. IT people sometimes are such that they have zero social skills. They don't know how to talk to anybody. So, all sorts of different variations of this. But what is all of this? It is not that when you become intellectual, have you met people like that? They cannot talk to you unless you're talking about their subject. So there's like zero social skills. If they go to a cocktail party, also they will talk about, I don't know, astrophysics or something. And then nobody's talking about that. So they get bored and they refuse to go there. Zero social skills. So When the mind gets carried away with intellectual desires, the individual becomes what others may call nerds, geeks, or dogs. In Vedantic terminology, the person may have gotten involved, that is, his mind has taken over. Notwithstanding this, however, not all nerds are involved in intellectual desires. So don't take the converse place that everybody is involved. Sometimes there is nothing else in their personality, so not necessarily that they are involved. They're merely living according to their nature, and there's no need for everyone to conform to any particular type. That's another thing we should learn, that just because somebody else doesn't have the social skills which we think people should have, doesn't mean that they should have it. Why should they? If they're perfectly happy without us, why should they learn to live with us? We're not passing judgment. Everybody should be free to do that. Some objections to the intellect, such as Damasio's, are the result of different usages of the word intellect. Antonio Damasio, in his book Descartes' Error, argues for the use of emotion in arriving at good choices. I don't know if you all are familiar with this book, but it was a very popular book at one time, which is Descartes' Error. Where he speaks about how emotions are very important for us to be able to make the right decision.
There's a mismatch between the printed book and the Kindle. I think there's talk of spontaneity and all that was completely skipped by you, I think. If you can, I'll just share the Kindle version, just see if you skipped anything.
But this has come in the wrong place. We did spontaneity, and spontaneity, it seems to have come again here.
Okay, that's
This is
fine.
fine.
I'll
Just
just make a note of it.
note. Yeah. Because we have to, I mean, you see, it's all there. It's just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
repetition of the earlier
Yeah.
one.
But the next para has Damasio, so I'll make a note. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So Antonio Damasio wrote a book. Is it all here? Okay, it's all written here, so I didn't tell you. Antonio Damasio, in his book Descartes' Error, argues for the use of emotion in arriving at good choices. Pure reason doesn't work, as shown by studies on people who've had the frontal lobe of their brain removed. You see, there's a frontal lobe, and sometimes, for whatever reason, it has to be removed. So, this chap had it removed because of brain tumor. He continued to have fantastic memory, was intelligent, aware of the news and the areas of business he worked in. He could do math and was pleasant and charming. So look at him, all his intellectual faculties were quite present. He could remember, he could do math, he knew all the news, he was very aware of what's going on around, but he couldn't keep a job or marriage or anything. He couldn't make plans even for a few hours ahead. He couldn't make sensible choices. You see how this is working? He has all the supposed intellectual abilities, but he has no intellect as Vedanta defines the term. He recounted the tragedy of his life with detachment, as if it was happening to someone else, and appeared to have no emotions at all about it. So his life was very tragic. As you know, he had brain tumor, he met with an accident, his wife left him, all sorts of horrible things happened to him. And he could tell you all those things because he's not forgotten, but with a detachment that, like, he didn't feel anything about those things. Subsequent emotional testing showed that emotionally evocative images brought no emotional response. Eliot had become incapable of emotion and hence incapable of decision making. So they drew a link that he didn't have emotion. Baba, you studied Descartes' era? No. Yeah. So yeah, it is very, very interesting it's a case in psychology where this guy had his frontal lobe removed. So he had no emotion, but he had all the intellectual faculties. So they say that if you don't have emotion, you won't be able to make a decision. That's how Damasio has concluded from this case. So though he was good with idea generation, he could not choose at all. Like he could use 100, sort of ideas, but he was incapable of choosing any of those ideas. And of course, acting on any of them. Damasio writes, what was even more confounding is that Eliot could think up lots of options for a decision. But when given assignments of assessing ethics, like whether or not to steal something for his family, Les Miserables style, business, like whether to buy or sell a stock, or social goals, like making friends in a new neighborhood, he did great. But even with all the idea generation, he could not choose effectively or choose at all. Imagine, strange, no? I began to think that the cold-bloodedness of Eliot's reasoning prevented him from assigning different values to different options. Damasio writes, and make his decision-making landscape hopelessly flat. So this was a very, very unusual thing that he had come across where a person didn't have emotion and therefore couldn't make a decision. Because according to Damasio, it is emotion that helps you give something, some value. Okay, like you give your child greater value. Why? Because you have emotion there. So it is emotion that's helping you give value to something. And if you don't have any emotion about anything, then all of it is, hopelessly flat. It's straight lined. As Damasio said in a later interview, wisdom is what happens when you accrue lots of somatic knowledge in your life. If you've been through lots, then you know how you would feel in a wide variety of situations, allowing you to make better decisions and therefore give better advice to. Therein lies the problem of the high reason view. Without the filtering provided by emotions and their somatic markers, the data sets for any given decision, whether it is what to get for lunch or whom to marry, would be overwhelmed. See, how do you choose what you're going to have for lunch? Largely based on what you like, right? So, how do you choose who you like? Based on who you like. Suppose you looked at all potential partners with no emotion towards any of them. How will you even choose who to marry? So it's a very interesting sort of idea he came up with, and that's why it's been quoted here, because it seems in direct opposition to what Vedanta says, and yet you feel that there is a grain of truth in this, isn't it? I mean, you feel it's a valid point of view, right? Don't you find it a valid point of view? So that's why it's quoted here, because it's a good way to help us reflect. This is opposite to what we have learned. It sounds correct, and it doesn't fit into the worldview as we have learned. So how does this work? Don't worry. There is some resolution here. You'll see the validity or the truth in what he has put, right? You can imagine and agree with what he has said. It doesn't fit Vedanta. This thought-provoking book means not this one, but Damasio's book, seems to make a point just the opposite of Vedanta. Let us review it in the context of Vedanta. It is true that without ascribing relative values, decisions becomes impossible. Correct, no? If we don't ascribe relative values, you cannot make a decision. So you see person X, person Y, and there's an emotion towards one or the other, and so you value. And if you have no emotion, if you don't give some value, how will you choose? Something must appear more important to you than something else. With emotions do help us ascribe values. That is true. Everybody loves their child or their parent more than other people's child or other people's parents. But using emotions for this purpose is suboptimal. No doubt it is true, emotions help us give those values, but using them for that purpose is suboptimal. The values ascribed by emotions may be misleading, such as on spending versus saving. A person may value spending more than saving. So it's suboptimal in terms of choice. The mind usually ascribes greater value in spending as it perceives joy in that. The intellect can curtail this joy for later but greater happiness. 4. Using aspects of the intellect like knowledge, goals, ideals, etc., works with less error. To elucidate, a person's mind is thrilled at the thought of making more money. So he sacrifices the general good for it and leads his company to eventual failure. So if you're using your emotion to ascribe value, you will end up in a problem at the end. These emotions should not be the determiner of right action. A better understanding is more effective. The solution to the problem of reasoning, okay, this is the important thing. The solutions to the problems of reasoning is improving the intellect's quality, not reverting to emotional decisions. Do you realize this actually happens in life? You don't know what to do, choose X or Y. So what will you tend to choose? You will tend to choose the one you like, right? So because I can't use my intellect, I've reached a sort of a wall with reference to the intellect, I'm reverting to using my emotion. But that's suboptimal. The solution to the problem of reasoning is improving the intellect's quality, not reverting to emotional decisions. Giving the right value is better based on reason than emotion. Remembering always that shallow reason cannot be applied to great things. I hope you underline that. Remember, shallow reason cannot be applied to great things. Reason must be rendered capable of ascribing correct values with the help of right knowledge. Like people will tell students who want to join the course, you're making such a big mistake. And they're right, because they'll say you can go and earn, you can build up your resume by having a job, which is all so great. Cannot apply shallow reason to great things. A person could have told Gandhi that, right? What, you're a barrister and you're wasting your time in India's freedom movement. Why don't you, do something with, you can earn so much being a barrister. Shallow reason cannot be applied to great things. 5. I hope that's clear. The point is clear. When knowledge is digested, it manifests as emotions, as the heart, as gut feeling. Deepraj, is your question on point 4?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I still don't understand how Damasio's point was countered, because Damasio couldn't, I mean, the claim is that if he had worked on the intellect, he would have been able to make a decision without reverting back to the mind. But he wasn't
If it
able to make
improved
it.
the quality of his intellect.
But he still wasn't able to make a decision.
Yeah, because he didn't do anything to improve the quality of his intellect.
But
He was
even with
working on a very shallow intellect. There was no real intellect in the sense Vedanta uses that term, right?
so his intellect wasn't capable enough to direct him towards a particular action, and that's why he wasn't able to take any action.
Correct.
Okay.
But now you must also remember these are very, very unusual cases. It's like the front lobe has been removed. So it's like his brain is slightly less, brain itself. So it's very interesting because of the way he's used emotion. The fellow couldn't have emotion and therefore he couldn't decide, is the theory.
But even when we set a higher ideal, there is a degree of emotion there.
Correct.
So
We're coming to
Damasio
that. That's
probably.
point number 5. Don't worry. It's
Okay,
being
okay,
dealt with.
okay.
That's point number 5. Surekha, you have something on this point itself or another?
Yes, Janki ji. My
Ah.
question was that wasn't this analysis made with pretty insufficient data?
Oh no, I don't think you can say insufficient to Damasio because, I mean, he used it as his research topic.
But just one
Oh,
sample.
that way, yes. Yes. That way you can say, but how much he delved into this so-called Eliot. Eliot is a change name, is amazing. His whole book is on Eliot. He's written a
Right.
fat book on Eliot and his conclusions thereof. But yeah, he's also, is a fairly well-known psychologist. So uh, I suppose he can always say that he definitely has more data than the rest of us
Okay.
because he's a practicer of his subject.
Thank you.
It's a very unusual case, this one. That's why it's so interesting. You can all read the book. It's a good way to reflect when somebody puts knowledge in different compartments than how, we create a worldview in Vedanta. Now, other people do something else. So it's a good thing when you are well established, not well established, you're sort of fairly grounded in Vedanta to sort of read these other things so that you can identify that I'm seeing something correct in what this person is saying, but I'm not able to fit it in the Vedanta thing. That means I'm missing my understanding somewhere.
Correct.
Otherwise, it should all fit in, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so Deepraj, here's your point.
Jankichi, 1 second.
Yes.
But this example saying that emotions, intellect, everything is just a brain function. What is our self-effort there? Where is our self-effort comes then?
Self-effort in what sense do you mean? Like Purushartha or normal effort?
No, normal, we control our emotions and all, So it is sometimes I am not so clear about my question itself, but somehow it point out that all your emotions, intellect, everything is a brain function. Because front lobe is removed, then he lost that capacity.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yes, it is a function of the brain. See, in the sense that your mind and intellect have to manifest somewhere, right? Mind and intellect, as Vedanta uses that term, is not of this body. They're
Yeah.
thoughts, which are not of this
Yes.
body. But they have to manifest in this body. Because if they don't manifest in this body is dead. Right? So if you don't
Okay.
have a brain, where are your thoughts going to manifest? They have to manifest in your brain. So now part of your
So,
brain has been removed. So it's equivalent to dead. So that part cannot
yeah.
manifest anymore.
Okay. Manifestation is not possible. That's all. Okay.
Yes, how can, if you have to be in the waking state of consciousness, then your body is the only route you have to manifest your thoughts.
Mm.
Otherwise, how will you
Okay.
manifest any thought? And if you didn't need a body to manifest thought, then why would you have a body?
So it is just an instrument, or is it like that?
Body is it's where these thoughts manifest. When your thoughts manifest without your body, it's called dream.
Okay. Okay.
But they manifest in the waking world, then it involves the body.
Okay. Okay. Understand. Thank you.
Right. So 5. When knowledge is digested, it manifests as
Actually,
emotions.
there's a question on the chat.
Okay, yes, I remember. Thank you. Would the opposite, Bharat, would the opposite be true? All reasoning and no emotions leading to better decision making? No, not at all. That's like Spock, right? You know, are you familiar with Star Trek, Bharat?
Yes, we discussed last time.
Huh. So Spock is all intellect, all reasoning and no emotion. So that doesn't work either. Not because the emotion is required, but because if you have all reasoning and no intellect, that means there's no emotion, means there's no digestion. We are about to come into this point, which is even the Raja's point. I mean, the same answer to both your questions. So when you have all reasoning and no emotions, that means your reasoning is simply not deep enough. Because if you did reason deep enough, you would feel that whatever it is you have reasoned. Remember the principle where the intellect goes, mind goes. So it's like saying, I recognize, it's like, I don't know, suppose somebody was to tell Arjuna, as he was told, that Karna is your brother. The moment he understands Karna as my brother, what happens to him? Emotions start, right? Suppose Bharat, one day somebody comes to you and says, I am your son. Then what will you do? You will say, my son, yeah. Right? So if you understand what the person is saying and you feel no emotion, that means you don't get it. Suppose I tell you the most important thing is we set up Vedanta University and you feel zero emotion. That means you don't get it. Or we say Tattvamasi, you are the self, and you don't understand it, then you will feel no emotion. So when you understand something, when your intellect goes somewhere, your mind will go as well. So all reasoning and no emotions lead to better decision. No, it means shallow reasoning, which is what we're.
Thank you.
Okay. Is your question same or different
Uh,
question?
just a technical clarification I needed. You said that dreams and like dream manifestation is not with the body, just the mind and intellect. But dreams also need the brain to manifest.
Yeah, but not body in the sense like it's not affecting this body.
Okay.
It's doing its own thing. Like suppose, for instance, I dream I'm an Olympic champion and I'm running in the Olympics. I don't need this body for that.
Okay.
That's what it means without this body. In the sense, you got another body in the dream. Number 5. When knowledge is digested, it manifests as emotions. It manifests as the heart or as gut feeling. the new knowledge becomes the mind. Knowledge has been transformed into being. This growth to a new dimension expresses itself in the way a person feels and acts. Hence, emotions and their somatic markers are a good indication of a person's caliber. So the same point for both Bharat and Deepraj. How can you not feel? That sounds strange. I understand India is my country, but I feel nothing about it. There's something wrong with you. I mean, that means you're not understood. So, Damasio's analysis intuitively makes sense because sometimes the association with the higher with higher values ascribed to the heart, like in usages such as use your heart, don't be hard-hearted, etc. Being good is considered to be a thing of the heart as opposed to the head in some usages. It is regarded, and the head, which in some usages is regarded as being selfish, practical, and almost robotic. See, sometimes people use intellect in that sense, that you are very practical, very hard-headed, like, so that's why somebody says, yeah, I have a heart, because they're using it in that sense. So please remember that when you're not in a Vedanta class, people are using words very differently. So you can't take off on an argument with them because they're simply not using it the way we're using it. They're using it in some other sense. So if you're getting into a discussion with them, then the first thing you need to do is
Set the definitions.
set the definition. Very good. Otherwise, don't discuss, please. You all will end up hitting each other because each one will come from a position of, I'm telling you this is the truth. But they're talking two different things. Okay, so I hope this point is clear. Now, I hope you remember that we were discussing nerds and geeks. So here could be people, so the Marcio's example of only so-called intellect and no mind is not a contradiction to what Vedanta says, though it appears. That's clear? Hope that's clear. Narendra Singh Negi, you wanted us to go back to spontaneity, right?
Now, before that, just from this point, I like to confirm this, that intellect gives all-round application and clarity because it applies reasoning in the field of body, mind, intellect, and spirit. Whereas the intelligence lacks clarity because it is very particularized. Am I right in that sense? And it knows other things by chance or by shallow reasoning. How does the intellect gain clarity? Is because we are studying and thinking in the field of our own mechanism, body, mind, intellect, and other people are just focusing on one particular field. That is why that is why these people get clarity, those who are intellectual.
I don't think so. I mean,
Now, intelligent
when
people
you're
have
studying
clarity in
Vedanta,
they have clarity. They have clarity in one field. Intelligent people has clarity in one field. Whereas when we talk about intellectual person, we say it is across the border. Means he can apply
across the
himself.
board, not
Yeah,
across the border,
across
only you
the,
go across the border. We
across the
are
board. Yeah.
across
Means
the board.
all round application. So how
No, but
does
the
he?
question is, why is it all round? Because the nature of an intellect
Yes.
is it can deal with greater space and greater time. I mean, it can penetrate a greater arena and a greater time. So an intellect will be able to say that, okay, if I do this action today, what will be its consequences in the future. So how far in that future can you think? I mean, how much clarity, and this clarity, I think, comes, where does it come from? Trying to think, where does it come from? It comes from knowing basic principles.
Yeah,
It's
this is
like,
knowing about our own mechanism, how the world operates, how our mechanism, body, mind, intellect functions, how the
I think you can just simplify it by saying, by knowing principles. The better you understood a principle, the more
yes,
pervading its effect. For
yes,
instance, a mathematician can be an architect, can be what should I say? Can be an architect, can do artificial intelligence, can be there in a wide arena of fields.
right,
An architect, for instance, can make a wide, let's say, arena of buildings. The labor who actually makes the building can only make a building in the way he has been taught.
yes.
Like he can know how to put this brick after another brick. So why
So,
would you say that the labor is down, the architect is much, much higher, and the mathematician is much, much higher?
right,
Because the principles the mathematician is expected to know cover a wide arena. I mean, you could be a scientist, you can be an architect, you can be AI, you can be, I don't know, software developer, I don't know. Because the principles are much wider.
yeah, I got it now. Like mathematician operates in the wider area. Similarly, the person who's Vedantin, he operates in the wider area. Means he understands the basic principles and therefore operates in the wider area because he understands himself and he understands the world.
You can say that, but I mean, it's not about understanding yourself or the world. It's about understanding the base principle.
And that
That
is,
base principle can be applied anywhere.
yeah, just like mathematician is does by studying mathematics. So Vedantin does it by studying Vedanta or the knowledge of ourself.
Basic principles. You go down to
Basic,
first principles. But now that's not easy thing to do. Let us say Surekha is an architect. Okay, she's a
yes,
senior architect. Deep Raj is a young mathematician. Now, can you make the statement that Deep Raj will be able to put up a building? I mean, the amount of mathematics that he would need to be, I don't know whether he can or he can't, but he would need a huge lot of mathematics. You'll have to be like, I don't know, what is his name? Who's the Eureka guy?
applied mathematics he has to learn.
Archimedes.
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 Well, I have to be an Archimedes. To be able to take your mathematics and then apply it to, say, defense. Are
Right.
you familiar with Archimedes? He was a mathematician. That's all he ever did. He only did maths. And he
Yes.
loved maths. But when the sort of city was invaded, with his mathematics, he protected the city.
Right.
Okay, the same guy, his king told him that I've given gold to the jeweler. Tell me whether that he has used all the gold or not. And he's able to answer that question. That's how he found his famous Archimedes principle. So here's a guy who's brilliant at mathematics, and he can be in the defense, he can check whether some fraud is going on, financial fraud is going on, and do anything. But you have to be at that level. Now, Deepraj
Right.
says he can't put up a building, but Surekha can. But Surekha has done architecture, and Deepraj has done mathematics. So, please, everybody, put your feedback on the ground because we are studying Vedanta. doesn't mean that we can do everything in the world. Okay? Yes, our subject is the greatest, but it's being able to apply it in such a way that we can handle everything will take a lot of work. It's like, okay, a mathematician can put a spacecraft on Mars, can find out financial fraud, can deal with defense. But then if you want to go through the math route to do that, you have to study a lot of mathematics. So don't just claim that we know or we are more clear than the other fields. Yes, we do have an advantage. What is our advantage? Especially if we're not at extremely high levels, is that we tend to know a little bit more in a subject that we know little about.
Okay.
That does happen. That you tend to because you just clear. But don't take it for granted, please. The biggest advantage as a Vedantin which you should get is your ability to listen to good ideas from others. That you don't have the feeling I know, but that I can listen to. And I can take the very best of what you have to offer. I mean, look at this place if you think about it. There is not a single thing here that has happened that any of us know anything about. We are Vedantins, all of us, we are studying Vedanta. What do we know about putting up a building? And septic tanks and, I don't know, water connections and all sorts of things. And yet, all the Vedantins got together and put this thing up. What do we know about these things? How do we do it? Not because we know something, but because we know we don't know. So when someone tells us, we're willing to listen. So your biggest advantage when you learn to use your intellect is that you understand, I don't know. I don't know. And second advantage, you're able to identify who knows.
You are able to stretch yourself.
And you're able to identify who knows. You can immediately tell that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And you can tell this guy knows what he's talking about. So you begin to know things like that. And with that ability, you can get anything done. Because you know who to follow and who not to follow. Who to listen to and who not to listen to. That ability to have is fantastic. Because there's no way we are going to know as much as other people know. And we don't need to. Because, hey, there are a billion brains on this planet. I don't need to know everything. I just need to know how to use those billion brains. People have all sorts of abilities that we can't even dream about. But can we identify the guy who has that ability? So intellect is not just I know and I know the world. I understand what I don't know. And I have the brains to find out who knows about it. There's so many things involved.
Yeah.
So, and virtue is your best bet in this world. See, if you're arrogant, you can't use anybody else's brain. That means you're stuck in your brain. That means your success is stuck as much as your brain is. But if you're not arrogant, you have no limit to the success you will have. Because you can use other people's brains. Why should you use your own? What need is there? But unfortunately, very many Vedanta students think, oh, I'm doing Vedanta. I'm so smart. Because Vedanta is the best subject. I'm doing Vedanta. I'm the smartest. No, dummy. If you're doing Vedanta, that means Vedanta is the smartest subject. I get it. So I get I'm not so smart. So therefore, I can use your brains. That's the difference in intelligence and intellect. No? If you notice, in a very gross way, of course, those who are very good at software or very good at, I don't know, karigari, or very good at anything, painting, whatever. They're very good at something or the other. They don't make half as much money or quarter as much money as the guy who runs the business who uses their services. His business cannot run without their service, but he's making the money, not them, because their intellect works in money. So if your intellect works in life, you can use the abilities of everybody to create a heaven for everybody. Okay? So
That means
that's it for today. We will continue next time. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari
Thanks,
Om.
ma'am.
Thank you, Janki ji. And congratulations.
Oh, congratulations to us all. All of us have put in all this, and we have somehow landed up at this juncture. No doubt a long journey to go, but well, here we are.
We are having live lecture from the campus.
Yeah. Can you believe it actually happening
Yeah.
today? But of course, we are, as you all know, we are short of funds, please. If these guys finish, we will have to pay them. They're not finishing. You know what we found out today? You'll be shocked to know that our bathrooms do not have a hole for the water to drain. So we are scrambling around to make a hole for the water to drain off. I can't believe we've reached this stage without that. So who has overlooked this? I don't know, but we are attending to the matter. So all sorts of things are going on. If you come here and you see, it's like a full-time soap opera. We should do a serial on this. We actually film all this stuff, what all goes on over here. So if you would come here, you'll be part of a massive drama going on. Tomorrow,
Basically,
those who are
the Vedanta wisdom version of The Office.
yes, I don't know, version of what? I think version of samsara. Can you enjoy the mess? So anyway, I look forward to seeing you all here sometime. Bhagwati was here last week. She brought a potential donor and came because I know you're all working hard trying to get donations from here and there. But very sweet. Bhagwati, I hope to see you here again. And Amarendra, I heard you're also coming sometime. So yeah, great. So
Yes.
please, all of you come. It's beautiful over here. It's really beautiful. I'll ask Bhagwati. She was just here. What do you have to say, Bhagwati? You're muted, so if you're saying anything, we can't hear you.
Hari Om. Yeah, it was a very dream come true actually for me. I was not expecting to come so early. I thought I will come maybe for the retreat, but the prospective donor wanted to come, so I didn't want to miss the opportunity. So I just came. It was very beautiful. I didn't feel as coming back. I actually regretted. I should have postponed by one week my visit.
Don't worry, we have the whole month of March. So come
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah,
She's
that's why I
right.
just thought I will join the first Zoom. Generally, I watch YouTube later because I work. Just today, I just thought I'll come early from work, and I just wanted to witness that historical.
Yes, it is a historical one today.
And thank you so much. I wish to come. I tell my husband now. I'm going to Vedanta University.
Tell him he also has to come. He
Yeah, he
can't
will
just.
come. He will come.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And I take this opportunity for the great work being done by Jayashree.
No, of course. Who can forget Jayashree? Come, Jayashree. She's right here. Come. You have to take a bow.
Yes.
What are you? Come, come, come. She's refusing. We can turn it around and show her. Come. See. Can you see her in the corner?
Yeah, I just saw it very live. I know it. The same energy she has from the
Amazing
beginning
energy.
till the
Yes.
end. Yeah.
You should come here and watch her when people are not doing what they should. Then you will see what energy is all about. While I was dressing today, I was hearing somebody getting her dress down. I don't know what she was upset with him for, but all of these men are running because Jayashree madam has arrived. But not running fast enough for her, unfortunately. Okay, so anyway, when you all will come, you all will see more drama going on over here.